The military coup shattered the nation's political stability, and within months, resistance groups formed across cities and ethnic states. Myanmar, a nation once full of promise, now consumed by the largest civil war in its modern history. Since 2021, the country has been torn apart by violence, resistance, and an unrelenting fight for control. The military coup shattered the nation's political stability, and within months, resistance groups formed across cities and ethnic states. The military coup shattered the fragile political landscape. What followed was chaos. Protests crushed, leaders imprisoned, and the nation thrown into turmoil. The People's Defence Forces, everyday citizens turned fighters, joined long-standing ethnic armies to resist military rule. But from the ashes of fear came resistance. The People's Defence Forces, ordinary citizens, students, workers, took up arms. They joined long-standing ethnic armies who had fought for autonomy for decades. From Shan to Rakhine to Karenni, anti-junta coalitions launched major offensives, seizing towns, capturing bases, and weakening central authority. By 2023, the conflict had spread across the entire country. In Shan State, the MNDAA advanced through border towns. In Rakhine, the Arakan army captured bases and strategic ports. And in Karenni, young fighters held the mountains with fierce determination. Operation 1027 became a historic turning point. A united offensive by 3 ethnic armies swept across northern Myanmar, disabling dozens of military positions. Then came Operation 1027, a moment that changed everything. A united offensive by 3 powerful ethnic armies overwhelmed military positions, capturing towns and bases at a scale not seen in decades. The balance of power began to shift. Operation 1027 became a historic turning point. A united offensive by 3 ethnic armies swept across northern Myanmar, disabling dozens of military positions. Then came Operation 1027, a moment that changed everything. A united offensive by 3 powerful ethnic armies overwhelmed military positions, capturing towns and bases at a scale not seen in decades. The balance of power began to shift. But the cost has been devastating. Thousands displaced, cities destroyed, families torn apart by continuing violence. But every victory carries a price. Villages burned, families displaced, children fleeing airstrikes with nowhere to run. Millions of civilians now face a life defined by loss and uncertainty. Infrastructure collapsed, from the iconic Goktaik Bridge to schools hit by airstrikes, showing the scale of destruction. From iconic bridges destroyed to schools struck by bombs, the war has scarred the landscape of Myanmar physically and emotionally. As the military plans an election for December 2025, many view it as an attempt to legitimize their power, even as battles continue across the nation. As December 2025 approaches, the military plans a national election. But in a country where frontline battles surround entire regions, many question whether such an election can ever be free, fair, or meaningful. The path ahead is uncertain. Escalation, ceasefire, or fragmentation. Myanmar stands at a critical turning point. The future remains uncertain. Will the conflict escalate? Will new alliances form? Or will peace finally take shape through negotiations and dialogue? In the midst of conflict, millions still hope for freedom, stability, and a future without war. Amid destruction, the people of Myanmar continue to hope. Hope for safety, hope for dignity, hope for a future without war. and though the road ahead is long, their courage continues to light the way forward.